forged. I had papers forged.
Talked about how you and your friend were in your car, and you went to a store, and you guys robbed the store, and then took the car, and you went on the run and took the police on a chase. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was I had that's when somebody had broke in my crib, killed my dog, and I got drunk with my boy Bob that night, and we got to rolling down. Bob was he was a wild man. He rest in peace now. But at the same time, we was rolling, and when the police were chasing me, I was driving, and Bob jumped out on the corner when we hit a corner, and then I jumped out with the police, and like, hey, how I act like I was scared to death, like I'm so glad to see y'all. I just went into a little act. They was kind of like took me back to the station, and the guy said I looked like I was scared, because this was my, I don't know, I always try to think ahead of things, even in that, and they was believing me until they found Bob up in the tree. So, they brought him in there. So I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I grew up in the Green housing, Henry Horner housing, K-Town, West Side, Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I roamed all over Chicago.
Okay.
I met Kelly, and then it changed the direction of my life, where it was going. And in the meantime, in between time, you still run into obstacles.
Absolutely.
Those obstacles all the time. You learn by way of discipline or consequences. I always faced a lot of consequences.
Yes, indeed. They were believing you until our nosy butts found out you wasn't telling the truth. And then I listened to you. You have so many excuses. You blame everybody, even somebody killing your dog, for you to get out and do bad. And then you said you got drunk, so I go out there and I'm going to do something wrong. Because I'm drunk, I'm mad because somebody killed my dog. You have excuses. And see, you're an actor now. But we peep game on this side of town, okay? Demetrius Smith, we peep game, okay?
So they called Bob. When Bob jumped out the car when you took him on the run, and he jumped out the car, they ended up finding him in a tree, in the top of the tree.
Yeah, it was winter time.
So they brought him into the police station, because at first you was telling them that Bob was holding you up.
Right, he was holding me up. That's what I was telling the people. And when they took me back to the gas station, the guy kind of said he did seem like he was kind of scared, because the guy stood right behind him all the time with his hands in his pocket. So, the police was like, wow, man, you're kind of lucky, huh? It's called kind of crazy things happen. Yeah, they were, man. I seen Bob come in, I knew it was all over.
That was
they
it.
Would have wanted, they would have wanted me to identify him and all that.
Yeah.
We had several lawyers.
Now, supporters, I need you guys to help me out on this. Now, doesn't this sound a little familiar here? He had something to do with the plot and the schemes and the lies. And he was going to lie and pretend like he was the victim in all this here. And you know what? And I'm looking at it, you're doing the same stuff now. This is something that you used to doing. You lie, you plot, you scheme, and you blame other people. Now you're putting it off on Robert for you going in, trying to do the little hookup with the ID and so forth like that. That was your plan. You came up with that idea, for your plot. And see, you're doing the same thing. You got out, you played the victim, you played like you didn't have nothing to do with it. And then, see, when it came down to the law, you didn't want to get yourself in no lies. You're like, I can't lie now because I'm caught up. And this is what's going to happen to you now. You're going to get caught up in your lies. And you already getting caught up in your lies because we just see it. It's all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
He was just angry that you walked in your house and it had been robbed and your dog was in your kitchen or area dead. So you went on a rampage. Did that ever get resolved? Like, did you ever find out who did that?
Well, I kind of found out. I found out kind of like who did it. But it's you feel it in your gut who did it. They didn't just say he did it, but you know who did it. Always somebody that when they go in your house like that.
Yeah.
In a neighborhood that's secure with people. They know when you're there and when you're not there. So it was a friend, But
Yes.
see, I always felt, when you run into things and people when they do things to you, sometimes I used to think that they be them blew your blessings, but they be them blew their own blessings because
Absolutely.
those battles don't be mine. So those same people, some of them you don't even see, and some of them just hurting in their own way. So that's how I look at it. I let it go. I let go.
So
Now that's funny you said that. So you should know how Robert should feeling, right? You should know how he feeling. And seeing that's what Robert Sylvester Kelly, the human. We're not talking about the brand. We ain't talking about R.Kelly. We're talking about Robert Sylvester Kelly, the human. And that's how he felt about it. Just let it go and let God. But see, what Robert Sylvester Kelly did, he used that off-brand roach spray. And you like a damn roach. You can't get rid of it. You just have to keep coming back, and you have to keep coming back. Because listening to you in your interviews, you are a pure narcissist, for one. The way you talk, you're a pure narcissist. Really. And then, he let go and let God. But see, Robert going to have to get the Terminex this time. He going to have to get some professionals to spray all these roaches away.
I started going to pick him up. He was a quiet little kid, and he was just quiet. He was, you don't ever want to call a kid scary, but he was kind of kid that just didn't come out.
Right.
He hid behind himself, and he hid behind his piano. And
just a little timid, yeah.
Yeah, he's timid, and you don't want to. He's just timid. You know what timid is. People pick on you. People call you stupid. All those kind of things. He probably grew up in that stuff.
Right.
And so I took a liking to him because of his music. I knew he couldn't read and write when he made that known to me, and I didn't want nobody to take advantage of him. That's just why I fell for him.
So you guys met, and he actually shared with you that he couldn't read and write as he was 16.
Over a period of time.
When he got used to you.
Yeah, he got used to me, and then because I didn't take him right around other people. First, I started going around seeing how he was getting along. Met his buddies. All they like to do is play basketball. And then I started taking them with me around places to make money, clubs, and not clubs because he was too young, but we'll go to piano places, hotels that got pianos in them. People outside having picnics, all those kind of things,
Yeah, so you talked about the subway. You could go down there and you would make money at the subway, and then...
Before I finish, let me let everybody know the young lady voice that you hear, and I believe that's Phases the Next Level, and I believe she was one of the first ones to do an interview with him. So this is an old video. I know she know a lot more about Demetrius Smith now. I think she did the interview. I think she was one of the first YouTuber to do the interview with him. So if y'all want to go and see the whole thing, go to Phases the Next Level. Real sweet person. But I'm the type of person after I just been doing so much reading on Robert Sylvester Kelly and looking at videos and interviews and I listened to this guy, and I just sat there and just like he's 26 and Robert's 16 years of age, a young boy, and he said he didn't want nobody to take advantage of him. And I'm like, you took advantage of him. And see, why he's so upset, Robert was his meal ticket. Because if you listen to him, he took him. And then once he found out that, Robert couldn't, read or write and stuff like that, he took him up under his wing. Because he saw that when he went into meet his management and so on, he saw that people are trying to work with this guy. So, he got some talent. So I'm going to get him and put him under my wing. But I don't want nobody to take advantage of him because this is my meal ticket. This is my way out the ghetto. And you took advantage of him. And you need to look at that, like, just look back at this young boy that you say you didn't want nobody to take advantage of. And if he didn't help you forever, be grateful for what he did for you then. And and I just look at it like, okay, he's taking him to these places so they can make money. Like this is the way I can get some money. And you come straight out of prison for 6 years, getting involved with this young boy, and you took advantage of him.
Look, I mean, I ain't gonna talk about him in his book, but nobody's in his book. He raised himself. You see, so that's his book. But at the same time, that's his book. That's his story to tell how he wanted it.
That's right.
When you talk about Lifetime, and you talk about the people in it, and you talk about everybody coming out at him at this time, I have my issues with Robert, but they're my issues. I'm not in this, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm in this to what I got to destroy somebody, I'll destroy you. And,
right.
And me and him got a thing. He owed me a few $1 million, as far as I believe. You see, I ain't got a nickel. So,
right.
And this book been out 8 years ago. I didn't hire a publicist then to promote it.
Right.
You see, it was mine. Now
right.
You got everybody else just doing things, and I think that's kind of I think that I'm not going to say that the girls weren't abused, and the guys feel like they survived R.Kelly.
So, Demetrius, let me ask you this about the girls. You're saying that they're saying that they were, like, even a girl said that one of the other girls had like a chain around her neck, and he was walking her in a room as a dog. Do you think he was capable of that?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this much. I read snippets of the book, and it's a sex book. You see, it's like you telling behind the door stories. Mm-hmm. Now, I got when I'm in this house, and I got my girlfriend, and we done been some years together, some months together. We've been kicking it together. If I want to play some games, I'll play some games. If she wants to play with me, then we're gonna play together. I mean,
and that's your business behind your closed door, yeah.
That's your business. I think that's sad. You see that they're making them look like something that they just don't even understand themselves.
Right. So, because what? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep.
I just think that they don't understand themselves because the situation that they are in. I spent 10 years in it.
Right.
You see, and I didn't get paid nothing.
Okay, Mr. Demetrius Smith, on this interview, you said you didn't get paid anything, and then also you stated that you deserve millions. You deserve $2 million, and I see now. This is the rage and this is what you upset about. You feel like I made Robert the person, the artist, and you didn't. He was performing before he met you, and I think it's really quite sad that every time you speak, you say millions. You constantly say millions, and you deserve millions. And so, my question is, Mr. Smith, is this the reason why you acting out? Because you feel like he owe you more? And then you said you didn't get anything, but in another auto that I'm gonna have playing after this interview in a recording, you said that they let you go, and they gave you what, $35,000. But once again, you guys, business is business. He gave you a care package at the end. I mean, after you stole from him. I mean, I wouldn't have gave you no $35,000. I would have got a restraining order on your tail, but $35,000, you left with that. You telling everybody that Robert owed you more, and that's sad. Um, you know, the power of money. I mean, the power of money.
And I'm 10 years older than him, but see, this is still a fresh thing to me. I ain't never had no babies. You see, and Robert was all of them were young. with a teenage mind. And after shows was always the girls. I mean, Joe C. them did it. High Five, a New Edition. Everybody did. And still today they do it. You see, after the shows, there's the girls. Right. Robert Excessive. I mean, with me, it was, you might have somebody that had help with control. I didn't have no help. I had a guy that everybody was answering to. See?
Gotcha.
And you see what I'm saying? I would put a security there, and I chose him. So, man, be loyal to me. Now, let me know where you're at. And I did that. But when those got there, you see, now Robert had to control everything. And so it was difficult. And the girls, after the shows, they were never babies. They were never underage girls. They were never underage girls. Now, they were younger. I would look and I would say, hold on, man. Girls, it's just too many girls. Look, kind of hoes and girls. They was always of age. They just might be the younger one. Now, Barry Hankerson, Barry Wise. And, I spoke to several, people, but I didn't speak to them and like, man, hey, this guy's entertaining. And no, I didn't speak to him like that. I say, hey, man, it's too much activity after the show, man. I need to get out of here after the show, man. Y'all need to talk to him and tell him to allow me to do my job. You see? Now, I mean, I got to fight to him off, and I got to monitor the girls because he'll sit in there and talk to them and want to play the piano for them. And now I got a bus driver that's up already. He'd been up for 4-5 hours waiting on us after his show. We got to drive 8 hours. So all those things I got to do. Then I got to sit down and do the paperwork. And they're like, man, after the show, let's go.
That's a lot.
Right. And so that's how it was every show. And that's what I've talked about after the show activities. It wasn't that. We didn't see I seen younger girls. I guess I never flew in any young girls. You see it, never.
Now, see, this is where I'm looking at with Demetrius Smith. He's dealing with Robert Sylvester Kelly was a young age. He was 16. And so he felt like having that control. So once the brand Robert Kelly gotten bigger, Demetrius Smith couldn't handle that. He wanted the control. Demetrius Smith wanted to continue to control R.Kelly, the brand. But as Robert Sylvester Kelly started to get larger and larger, he became this mega star. And he didn't understand how to run the business of R.Kelly, the brand. And so he complained to the record label. He just wanted to go in, do the concert, and go. But as a artist, you have to entertain your fans. You have to know that you appreciate them and you appreciate them for coming out. So when you come back to the city, word of mouth is great as well. And they can tell the next person, oh my God, he was so nice. He played the piano for us and, and things like that. That's how it works in the music business. And, so I feel like Demetrius Smith, he actually wanted the total control. And the older Robert Sylvester Kelly became, he couldn't control him. And that's what he was angry about. He couldn't have the control of Robert Sylvester Kelly and his brand, R.Kelly, because it was getting bigger and bigger. So that's where you have to know when an artist, becomes bigger, he's not mediocre no more. So he had to move on.
No, I don't. I didn't know nothing about the premiere until they told me. I didn't. I do. Why I went on Lifetime was because of my book, and
right.
And that was it. Anything other than that, I felt like they were wrong. I didn't know to look at. I would hope that they had given me some before they showed it, but they didn't. And I just think that it was tricky.
That's how easy it was to take the bait. And see, people in the industry, and when they have an agenda, they use people to get what they want. And so Lifetime used the you for a bait, and you admitted that you went in there for your book, to promote your book. And you didn't ask questions like one of his friends, Miss Kim. She asked a bunch of questions. Did you talk to Robert? Did he say it was okay? And no, they didn't talk to him. So why are you talking to me first? And so they did what they wanted to do. They achieved their goals, and they used you and others. They didn't even invite you to the premiere. They didn't even invite you to the award show. They made $21 million off you guys, and you guys can't get anything from them. And so that's how they work in those industries. They will use any and everybody. I'm pretty sure you understand that, you know, about using. And I want people to see this for what it is, and that's why I'm, showing these videos, because I want you guys to see that um, everybody that was in Robert's life and had a motive to do something, to gain something, to plot, to hurt, to scheme, to retaliate, revenge, because they no longer in his life. And this is what we're trying to show everyone about the circus of lies here. We have a man that's trying to fight for his life, that's fighting for his life, and others that believe in him. And all of this is because of people greed and anger because of their success and jealousy. And this is what we're trying to show you, you all.
I left Robert in '95. I left him right after Leah. Right after that, right after this situation, it's just, to me, it led up to now. You see,
was it optional?
It led up to now.
Right after the marriage and Aaliyah, the whole.
I mean, I could have perpetrated. I could have still been there if I'd have been a guru. I wasn't nobody's guru. I ain't no guru.
Gotcha.
And, there's people that's still there with them, and it's people that's still there, and I'm not going to mention their names because it's not easy to know who they are. You see, because they've been there since they've been there. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm hearing from the girls. It was like y'all was having good times back there. You see what I'm saying? But now you're pissed off. I mean, it helps them.
Called you back, and you went back. Why did you go back if they weren't treating you like you needed to be treated?
Well, when you go back, you think you're going to do right. You think you're going to see a brother, man. I got to say his name too because I love him, and I think that he's the awesome musician, and now he's a preacher. Brother Lafayette Carthon. He taught me that. See, he said, brother man, because he came in and got his money. He said, brother man, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. You see, and from there, it gave me I looked at things differently. So when I did go back the second time, I went back for money, and they gave it to me. But when I got back there, it was still buck wild with the backstage stuff. And I'm out of the country with them. I wasn't going to be out of the country and be back and be stressed out. I already don't know where I'm at. So
I want to discuss a few things in this clip, okay? He said he could have perpetrated, and he cut it off real quick, which you did perpetrate. You did come in and you did that thing. You did it allegedly with Barry Hankerson. That's the reason why you came back, because you and allegedly Barry Hankerson had a plot to try to blackmail Robert Sylvester Kelly. You guys had a plot and a plan, and so y'all did that. He needed you back, and yes, he did pay you. What you saying you wasn't paid, but yes, allegedly Barry Hankerson paid you to come back so y'all can continue the plot and plan that he had in place for Robert Sylvester Kelly. Because as you see, you guys, the bigger the brand R.Kelly started getting, they knew that he would move on to better things. He's going to move on to better management, which he thought he did. Everybody had a plot and a plan. Everything that's hurting Robert is not on Robert. It's the people that's working behind the scenes. It's people that's just taking in to do their own thing without sitting down having a conversation with Robert Sylvester Kelly about his brand. And a lot of the stuff that's been done is to protect their investments. And so they did a lot of things behind Robert Sylvester Kelly's back to protect the brand R. Kelly. A lot of stuff Robert didn't know. He didn't know about payoff for lawsuits and stuff like that, because these people, which you constantly hear, it's certain people, and I'm not going to mention their names right now. You can hear them say, well, I got a lot invested in this, so we need to do this and we need to do that, because they trying to protect their money. And see, they will pay off anybody. That's just like with Michael Jackson. His attorneys advise him, that's just penny any money when it comes to you, because we need to protect your brand. We need to protect the name Michael Jackson. So pay these people off. I'd rather for you to do a hush mouth settlement for them to go and tarnish your name, and it's gonna mess up our money. So they figure because Robert he wouldn't know, as far as, paperwork and terms and stuff like that. So we just going to do it ourselves, and we can just go to him and we can just tell him, okay, we need you to sign this. This is for this, that, and that. So Robert Sylvester Kelly, not knowing what he's reading, signing paper that from people in his business he think he trusts. He hired them to run his business for him. So when they come to him with paperwork, and just tell him like, this is what this is about, so we need to have you to sign this. So if you see, you have the accountant that's doing behind the scenes work, dirty type thing, stealing money from him. And as we see, in previous videos, I showed you guys how Robert stays in the studio. Even, with the bedroom, like they tried to, the mainstream media tried to paint this picture of Robert having beds in there for sex and having sex slaves. Like I said before, I know so many artists, with their own studios, and they have bedrooms in the studio. You have artists that when they go out of town, they rent, a space with a studio, and it's a bed in there, because when they have that vibe, when they're in the studio, they don't want to leave, because it's going to mess up their vision. They don't want to get distracted. So when they have that image in their head of what they want to do, they want to stay in that studio so they can keep that vibe, And so Robert had so many people feeling like, well, we're going to do it this way. And that was Demetrius' problem, because he wanted to run everything and wanted to be the boss. But you didn't pay the cost to be the boss, but you wanted to run everything. If you just listen to his speech, his tone, and the words that he used, he is the type of man that I am the boss, and I am not going to sit here and let nobody control me. I am the one to control. Even though the brand R. Kelly is the person, and that's his brand, but Demetrius Smith wanted it to be about him. And just listen to his speech. And you was right when you said going in and doing what you was doing, because, allegedly, like I said, a tipster told me this, and like so far, I believe him, because it just seems right. And he everything he has told me has been coming to truth. So that's why I say I believe the tipster. He was called back to help, allegedly, Demetrius Smith and others with the plan. And we already know what Barry Hankerson will do. And so it's sad that Robert Sylvester Kelly is just like he was caught up with mobsters and like gangsters and thugs. Like he's like R.Kelly, Robert Sylvester Kelly on the outside looking in, not knowing what's going on in his own circle, his own environment. They kept him out the loop of everything. And that's sad to see that he is the one to fall. You just if you look at just like in the White House, you see Trump, the majority of the people that he had in his life and his circle working for him was nothing but mobsters and, extortionists, just some of everything, con artists, fraud. This is what Robert Sylvester Kelly was dealing with his empire. And they crashed his empire because everybody was looking out for their own sales and robbing at the same time and using Robert Sylvester Kelly as a scapegoat, stealing from him, and they trying to cover their tracks and trying to throw everything off on Robert Sylvester Kelly. So once again, Demetrius Smith said he wasn't getting paid. So if he was treated so bad, why did he go back? Ask yourself that question, viewers. Why did Demetrius Smith go back to the camp? If he was done so wrong, why did he go back? He was hired to come back so they can finish, allegedly, the plot to cover up some things, and they wanted to put it off on Robert Sylvester Kelly.
When they say that Drea was part of the girls on the bus, that was she part of the girls on the bus where she?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
She couldn't talk to people because she's saying she don't know really nothing about a lot of things that maybe other people think she does know about.
Well, I know Robert had his own bus with him and his dancers, and she was a dancer. About over a year now.
Over a year? Where were you?
I saw him in Hollywood. I heard that he was at a club in Hollywood, and I went down there and I saw him. It was a small club, and I got a chance to say hi, but I don't, what's up? You didn't want to sit and talk to me, then I'll holler at you later.
Oh, wow. Demetrius Smith found out that he was going to make an appearance in Hollywood, and he went there to try to speak to, Robert, and thinking they can rekindle. And Robert Sylvester Kelly didn't want to speak to him. And why? Why was that? A man that was so close to him that he said he took him under his wing. Now, he stated in the interview that he saw him a year ago. So why did Robert Sylvester Kelly didn't want to take the time to conversate with a man that claimed that he made Robert Sylvester Kelly the man he is as an artist, R.Kelly? Think about that, you guys. Now, you're at a club. Just say, for instance, you're at a club and you go in there and you see your homeboy or homegirl or somebody that was in your life that impacted your life in a positive way. You gonna run to him. Come on, man, get in this VIP with us and sit down and everything on me, because this man, he was there for me. You hurt him. He know what you guys did. But once again, like I said, this person in his camp that's real close to him, and I say close to him, stated that Robert did not want to see anybody be hurt. So he just, I say hush mouth. So Robert, he got that hush mouth. Because see, he don't want to see people of color continuing to be locked up and bound down. That's how much he care about you guys. But he don't want to deal with you. But he don't want to see you bound down. Ask yourself that, you guys. Just like, oh my God, why he didn't want to speak to him, and he said he did all this for him. my opinion, Demetrius Smith, you did something to hurt this guy. And if you know, that's even with me with family. I've been hurt so much by family. I'm just not gonna go around them. You know, my father said you can love a family member from a distance, and that's what I do. And I wish them well. But the hurt, I don't want to be around hurt. I don't want to see hurt. I don't want to be around people that did me dirty. And that's what Robert did at that club in Hollywood. You went back, and so to me, that's the anger too. That's why you so angry, because see, Robert didn't accept you back again like you thought he would, and you was angry. You left out of Hollywood, and you called him all out his name, and I'm gonna fix you. And see, when in Lifetime, and you was working on Lifetime, they was working on you then. They called you around that time. And boy. Oh yes, I need to get my book out. And I don't care, because this dude did not acknowledge me. So I'ma do what I got to do. Cause I need some help. I need a come up. He don't want to help me come up. So I'm going to do it another way if I got to destroy Robert Sylvester Kelly.
I ain't never seen him beat nobody. That stuff just confusing. Not confusing. I understand it.
It's true, because when I'm gonna be honest. Whenever
monster, they sell that stuff you put around your neck. I bet if you put a chain around somebody's neck, they went to the store to get it. You see what I'm saying? You know, one of them look like, if that's what it was.
Yeah,
you know, And if you already can see that, he is, he got his mind is sexed out. You see, and if you understand what sex does to you and the spirits that you take on, and if you look at what he's been in and what he's grown up in, and if you look at the fact that he is totally illiterate, he's illiterate. Now, if you look at what's growing in him, and what's consuming him, then you have to look at that. It's something deep. It's like it's a spirit in that man that's grown strong. Man, all the girls was crazy about Rob. I was like admirable of Rob, because all the women and some women he would have, I'd be like, man, that's my kind of girl. You know what I'm saying? A woman. When I make mention of woman, for people say he talking about he need girl, he like people something else.
Yeah.
So what? She's not here.
Yeah.
People are saying that they saw her on the bus and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who saw you see that? You see? And to say that to me was just it was like, man, that's not something. You waited all this. If I'd have walked in and saw Robert with Aaliyah, it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
It would have been a totally different story, but I couldn't have looked at them.
Right.
You see? But I saw them too I saw it differently. I saw them a little bit.
He would always say they were close like brother and sister.
They were close, man. They were close. They were special. They were special. And he's a big kid, regardless. He's a man now, but he's grown by shape to be a man. It's just a lot you don't understand about him. But let's let her rest, man. Because I get very angry, man.
Let's do that. Let's let her rest.
Talking about she this and she that.
Yes, rest and love Aaliyah. But yes, this has to be talked about, because for one, I want people to understand and listen to this clip, because that's how you see this and know that this was a plot and a setup, right? Because Demetrius Smith said that he went to get ID for her because Robert got her pregnant. Okay, so now he's saying if Robert slept with her, it'd have been totally different. Because if Robert told you that she was pregnant and you saying that it'd be totally different for him saying that she's pregnant, saying that he slept with her, right? So I want to try to explain this right, because sometimes if you don't word something right, it's totally blown out of proportion. Okay, so Demetrius Smith saying that other people saying that they slept together, they saw them slept together, and Demetrius Smith saying, oh, that is bull crap, because if I'd known anything like that, I would have took action. It'd have been something different, but I didn't see that. They were like brothers and sisters. So that's why I keep saying this, and I'm also going by an insider. Um, Allegedly, Barry Hankerson and hired Demetrius Smith to set this whole thing up. It was at first it was supposed to be a publicity stunt, because if you look at different artists that marry someone young, and marry someone that's a like an in the same field that they are in, their career grew and people catered to that, and that was fine. And we already know that this case is not about Aaliyah as far as that, but we know that the situation is about a purchase of a government official identification card, and a government someone that worked for the government took money. So Robert did not give this employee cash or money for bribery to get Aaliyah's ID. This was planned by Demetrius Smith. I'm going to show you where he said that he had connects. And so that's why I want everybody to put the pieces of the puzzle together, because Robert did not have any sexual affiliation with her. A lot of people, you'll hear something like a hearsay, he say, she say. Sparkle's ex-husband that was with public announcement, he was actually upset because Robert had an affair with Sparkle, allegedly. So just look at it. That's why I said everybody have a motive. So you're upset with Robert Sylvester Kelly because your wife went to the studio. She had to stay in the studio, which, I mean, that's how he have, people that he worked with, he have them to stay in the studio. Like I said, once again, he writes with his head. So at Sparkle, and this is my opinion on this here that I'm saying, as far as the studio situation with Sparkle and Robert. She was in the studio. He's going to work with her. So she's laying on the couch. They're working on the music, because you see on previous videos, I showed you how Robert constantly stayed in the studio because he writes in his head. So he got to get that stuff down immediately before it erases out his head, before the next vision comes along. So he has to get it, put in immediately. So once again, he's working with her. He this big celebrity. She started flirting with him. They're enjoying this music thing, and he's being all charming and sweet and kind. So she started feeling some kind of way with him. So she ends up sleeping with him. I'm just trying to paint a picture here. So Sparkle never made it back home. So the group member, her husband, it gets into his ear about it. Then all of a sudden, he wants to say that I saw Robert sleeping with Aaliyah. So just think about gossip, like on the bus. Yeah, such and such said this and that, But even with the vocal, the girl that was putting down the vocals, I don't have her name right now in front of me, that was on Lifetime with the pink shirt and the braids, and he took her on because she was just like him in school, so he felt sorry for her and wanted to try to help. Tiffany wanted to get Tiffany, and try to help her and build her up, because she was one of those kids that people picked at and bullied, allegedly, from the interviews that I've listened to. And so she all of a sudden in this here Lifetime fiction story, she want to mention that. But to me, if all these people was concerned that he was sleeping with underage girls, it would have been reported. Okay, it would have been reported. And this is why I want to just break down and show you guys the narrative of everything, and why, Robert's being framed, because I'm telling you, everybody has a motive in this here. Everybody, okay? And you just have to look at it like public announcement. I'll be talking about them soon. They're no longer in the group. The group is not together anymore. They felt like, okay, we can do this without him. And it didn't go right, okay? And so they blame Robert for that. And I don't see why you would blame Robert for that, because at the same time, when you're saying that you got with him and he said he's going to put you on, but what you're going to do, you're going to work with him, you're going to get information from him, you're going to learn the music, and you're going to learn the business, and you're going to build yourself from learning from the king of R&B. Okay? And you're going to get connects and stuff, and you're going to start working on your material, and you're going to start working on your stuff. And so if he said he was going to work with you, you'll be prepared. You'll have all your stuff laid out and giving him your ideas and stuff. So everything y'all just put on the shoulders of R.Kelly to do your project. And so I'm saying this here. One of the group members in public announcement also said that the management, if you hear, everything was management. Management kept them apart. Management said, don't bother him. We're talking to you. Don't do this and don't do that. And see, a lot of these managers were stealing from Robert. And so a lot of people that said they weren't getting paid, that's because the accountant and stuff is stealing your money. So that's why I'm trying to, take y'all down this yellow brick road of lies, extortion, plot, revenge, retaliation, jealousy, envy, all of this because of one man's hard work. They did it without a high school diploma, did it without a higher education, did it with a disability, illiteracy, and he outbeat these people that say they so smart and educated. And that's what I see. Now, that's my opinion from my research. So I just, I always want to tell you guys, do your own research, do your own, or just follow up on what I'm saying. Always follow up. I'm not telling y'all to believe me. I'm not telling you to believe me, but I'm putting out there information so you guys can see what I see and other people see. And we want the potential jurors to see these lies. We want them to see these lies. Because if Lifetime can put out some false information to sabotage a person without doing their investigation and their research and trying to make sure the facts are right, which I'm telling you guys in my spirit and from my research and from what I hear from inside the camp, it's bigger. It's looking to higher power. People with this high power, okay? People with this big money and got a lot to lose. And they're going to do whatever they have to do to not lose.
I'm the one getting them through the doors and having them sign all the setup stuff I did. It's because when you tell a lie, see, it lives in the future.
My sister, let's back me up with this.
Right.
Because my union with my family, I always want to draw a bond with my family, And when you got something for family, families should bond together to make that happen.
Right. It seems like you were trying to bring them something that they could invest in and make more money out of.
They could just invest. They already invest in me.
Right.
They pushed me and let me do my thing, and it didn't happen like that. But in the process, I kept believing, and I bruising my stuff. Because I'm the one that's initiating. I'm the one. I have a conscious mind. But I didn't believe in myself enough to, hold on, man, I'm the gift.
Right.
You see, because I am. Because once you get into yourself, and why you have to wait till I'm so old to feel this? You see?
the anger, sitting back and he's looking back, and it's just like the anger is there. My sister, they didn't want to invest in me. They invested in R.Kelly and the brand. They invested in Robert Sylvester Kelly, but my family didn't invest in me, and I'm better. And it's just like Demetrius Smith is like angry, and the envy and stuff is just there. Like I'm just so upset, and it's my family believed in him and wanted to help him, but they didn't do that for me. So it's just like a lot of stuff that's in Demetrius' head, that I feel that is just anger, envy, jealous, retaliation and stuff. And then you're gonna hear me say this over and over, in that he could have been, it's that woulda, coulda, shoulda type situation here. And I don't have that, and he has it. So, some people have that saying, if I can't have it, they can't either. And if I don't get it, nobody's gonna have it. This even the situation with some people, if I don't have him, nobody's gonna have him. If I don't have her, nobody. It's sort of like that with him. Like, I'm gonna just do whatever I need to do to destroy his fame, and try to make me some money doing it. So continue to watch the clips.
I met R.Kelly in 1985 at a talent show at Kenwood Academy. I was doing some videotaping when VHSs first came out. My hustle was to tape people doing shows, and nobody had really seen themselves on a videotape, so I was taping them and selling them the tape. I introduced myself to him, and from there we began to work together from 85 to 95. Pretty much everything he went through.
Ooh, sorry.
Bless you. First with him and his brothers, we formed a little band. I introduced them to my family. They sponsored us, put them in the studio. Then from there, we went through some things, and I went another direction, came back to him. He was with MGM, so I worked with them through that, after which we performed. They won the big break. Then they broke up, then we formed a Public Announcement. I was his personal assistant pretty much all the way through. I was, when I met him, like I say, he was a young kid, 16, a bashful, shy kid. People used to mess with him and, talk about him, and he didn't ever come out. He didn't come out. And then I spent a lot of time with him, taking him into the subways, grooming him pretty much. And he came out of himself, and he was dedicated to his music. Man Behind the Man. I published it in 2010, and it's been on the internet ever since. It tells about pretty much everything that's going on with him right now. It was a book that I wrote in prison, because after I left him and Lee, I went to prison to a place where she got an ID.
Or she got a fake ID? Is that what you're saying?
She got it was a real ID, but it was from, downtown. It was a legitimate ID from a work source. Say a FedEx place, and then another place was a county building or something. She got legitimate IDs.
So it wasn't like a government ID, it was like a work ID?
It was government ID and a work ID.
And you're saying that it wasn't, I mean, if it had her name with a different age, that would make it a fake ID, right?
It's a fake ID, but it was a real ID. It was a government, it was, it's driver's license, and I know somebody in there, and I'll take you in there, and they'll give you a driver's license. You ain't got to take no test. You just give them some money. And that's what happened with that. And
you were just there when she got the fake ID.
I feel like I'm the main fault. I feel like all this is my fault. I live with it every day. And I apologize, and I prayed on it, and it's something that is rocked my world in a way of I'm sorry. And I just what else can I do? It's done. I did not. I was younger myself. And I was numb. I was numb when it first happened. I was numb. And I didn't think. Robert worked you like a dog when you're out there working with him. And I was his tour manager and personal assistant. I didn't get rest. So I was working. I probably had been up for 3-4 days. And we would, like I said, it seemed like they were fitting. We always thought Robert to be a little slow and wanting to be super smart.
I'm listening to Demetrius Smith, and he's he's blaming other people for everything that he does. And God rest Aaliyah's soul, but she um, listened to people that's in the music industry, and they gave her that idea too. This will help launch your career because um, the brand R.Kelly, he is he's already to the point of the fame, and he can help your career grow. His career is launched and is big, and so this will help launch your career. So I believe with them, telling her that, she, agreed to go with Demetrius Smith to purchase her identification so they can do this publicity stunt to help launch her career. And so, because, and this is alleged coming from the tipster, someone that's stating that he's in the camp, or I'll say was in the camp, that Robert Sylvester Kelly vowed to not just leave it alone and don't say anything about it because he didn't want Alea to look bad. He wanted her career to grow, and he just wanted the best for her, and he didn't want to say that it's a publicity stunt to mess up her career. He wanted her to be the best, because plus he was also working with her, and like all the artists that he worked with, he wanted them to succeed because he got his name on it. He's part of helping them with their career. So he chose to just be quiet about it. And you hear Demetrius Smith saying I, I, and she. So Demetrius Smith, 10 years older. He was 10 years older than Robert. Robert was young too as well. Robert, he was young then, and that's how the media trying to portray him. They only putting his age of now on everything. They don't say, well, he was this age at this time, and they try to show pictures of him now. They're not showing the younger pictures of when all these alleged things happened to try to make him look like this old predator, and that's how the media work, the mainstream media work. But God rest her soul, and she was looking after her career. So after the publicity stunt didn't go as planned, everybody felt like, okay, we should just move on here, and you move on there, and everybody went their own separate ways, because we just have to look at it for what it is. He's stating that the fake marriage license. She went home to her parents, and he went his way. So you have to look at it that way because, okay, we're married now, so you're going to come be with me. Um, really, I mean, I'm looking at it through those lenses. But Demetrius Smith, he's been a con artist all his life. He's been in and out of prison. He just got out of prison when he met Robert Sylvester Kelly, and then so now these people want to put it off. Demetrius Smith and other members of the camp in the music industry want to put it off on somebody they said that's illiterate and somebody that they say is artistic. So we're going to put it off on the artistic illiterate one. We're going to put it off on him because he's not going to say anything anyway. Do you think that's fair? So my question again, why are these people, they trying to blame Robert for everybody else's doing and putting everything on Robert for what other people has done, and that's not fair. And I'm just gonna call it for what I see. I know Alea is deceased, but we have somebody that is fighting for their lives. So we just have to bring it to what it is, point it out to what it is.
Violated me and dishonored me and my family, I should have whooped his ass.
How did he violate you?
Well, he was it's he went with my sister. He went with people that were sponsoring him, and his little head overruled his big head. But he was young for me for that, so I overlooked that. But
so he started dating your sister, or having a sexual relationship with her? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I wrote it in the book. See, I don't got to, you know what I'm saying? Once you go in there, then you'll say, whoa. You see, that's something you have to go.
See, this is a pitch to sell that book, you guys. Use your common sense now. I wrote it in the book. I'm going to just give you a little something so you can get the book and hear the rest of it. So I'm just going to sell my book. Any mean necessary. I'm going to say what I got to say and need to say and make up whatever I need to make up so I can make this interesting to the people. And really and truly, you saying the book is about Demetrius Smith. That book is about R.Kelly. Damn. Talk about Demetrius Smith. All you have to do is say, well, I was an assistant to this popular artist, and I did this and I did that. Everything you put in there sounds like it's about R. Kelly. Don't you think he should get the royalties to that?
Hiding your pain has grown in him so thick.
Right.
Till I believe I can fly. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't ready for that.
He writes that shit. He writes that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, when I first met Robert, we used to walk right around. I come get this kid because he, man, me put him in the car. I'm pulling up on these two ladies, young teenage girls. And then, girl, I was wondering if you would like to come with me to a place where our love would flow. That boy would flow right there. Okay. And the girls was, ooh. Hey, let's go get a McDonald's. Let's go in here and sit down in Burger King. And that's from there we going on a date. Mm-hmm. So and that built his confidence. And I believe that when he got with my sister, she was an older woman. And now, wow.
So he wasn't totally into underage girls, because how old was your sister at the time?
About 27, 26, 27. And then he was
He was what?
So, he was younger. He was younger. So, that's how Robert wrote, and he patterned himself after things that he see. If you listen to him talk on his videos and everything he talks about, if he's not playing, making a joke, if he gets serious, it's only for a second, and he quotes somebody, and then he's lost after that. See, I left him in '94. He's stuck there. You see, but his imagination
he didn't grow mentally after that.
Yes, his imagination is buck wild when it comes to people.
Okay, now let me get this straight, because see, that's why I'll show y'all clips, because I want you to hear from the damn horse's mouth. Now let me get this straight. Now he said he when he first met Robert Sylvester Kelly, he said was 16 years old, so he was 26 years old. So you get this young boy, put him in a car with you so he can sing some melodies to these young girls. You said they were young girls, and so y'all take them to McDonald's. Now this is a 16-year-old boy, and you're a 26-year-old man. So now I want y'all to see where I'm getting at on this. Now y'all see where I'm getting at? But Robert Sylvester Kelly is to blame for your actions. A man that's been in and out of prison, on drugs, and things like that. What I need, and I hope Greenberg or Antoine or whoever, one of his attorneys, requests a drug test from Demetrius Smith. Because Demetrius Smith, listen to his interviews, this man is acting like he's on something. He's not credible. Period. They get this. They so desperate to get anybody to bring Robert down on lies that was brought up that they would use anybody. Anybody. You use this boy. I told you guys. I told you. This man, and that's why he's so upset. But how many times he said Robert accepted him in and out, in and out, in and out. Then you upset and you mad because now Robert grew, his brand is getting bigger and bigger, and you are the type of person that the people that started coming into Robert's life, these companies and stuff, is like, we need to get this man out of his life, and that's why you got in the defense mode, and then you wanted to run everything. So you upset with Robert because now he's getting older. So I need to take control of my stuff here, and you was upset about that because see, Demetrius Smith wanted to run the whole show. Demetrius Smith wanted to run the entire thing. But then, like I said, just listening to your interviews, you're the type of person like, oh no, I don't get down like that. I run this or nobody run it.
I've never watched anything on Mr. Savage because I've never watched anything on Mr. Savage. He called me a few times, but I don't answer the calls because I don't see where we got anything in common other than the fact if your daughter's held hostage, and then you should go get her. And you don't need cameras to do that. If you get a camera, it's because you've committed a crime. You see, against them in respect to that. But, when I see his daughter saying that she's not a hostage, I believe that because I know Robert Kelly. I don't know Robert.
So you don't think that he's holding any of the women hostage?
Not a hostage, no. Robert Kelly has, again, his mind level is there at the same level. He can talk them out of things. It's just like if you got a man, your level of respect for him is how you hold for him. His display of love to you is what bonds you to. Again, your level of respect for him equates his display of love to you.
Yeah, now, basically, a woman in her early 20s, and his mental capacity is there of a 20-year-old. So you're saying basically they're able to communicate and get along because their mind mentally is in the same place.
Well, he's comforting to them, and they're comforting to him, and he's the provider for them. They like the world they live in. They like walking out in the limelight. When he first got with the dancers, they wanted this limelight. I know Andrea. Andrea is an awesome dancer, and she loved it every night when them lights came on her. And when after the lights and after the show, everybody was, hey. And Robert's way of telling them to stay in straight lines or don't look at people, he felt he told me, Mr. McGlynn used to always tell him, don't go out in front of the audience till after your show. And after the show, you leave straight out. You sit back there and wait. And that's what he used to do. And he had them do the same thing, make them want you. But that was a wrong concept to me. But those girls knew what they were doing. And as far as being, I don't think Robert is the hostage. He don't do that.
So you don't think that he's, okay, so you believe that they're able to leave on their own free will and that, it's a consensual relationship.
Yeah, if they leave, they know that what they're walking away from. They want that. Because me, even when I left, I didn't have nothing. After 6-7 years with her, I didn't have nothing. That was my fault. You see, I bruised my damn self by staying in it. You see what I'm saying? He ain't beat me up. He didn't say, Johnny, sleep on the couch out there. You got to be here in the morning. If I left and I wasn't there and he didn't miss me, he didn't call me. But if I made myself to where I would be, I tried to create a job to where I'm valuable to where he needed me, then he called me. But if you're just there hanging, man, he liked the company. Right. So that's how that documentary series, I don't think. But I don't know that feel. I did it because they spoke of my book. And that's why I did it.
So you pretty much did it for promo for your book.
Pretty much, because it's been sitting for 8 years. And if it was about his beginning, I don't want to be forgotten. I was a part of that beginning. His wife, she knew who he was. To sit up there and say she didn't, see, I have that history with him. And no.
So when it comes to Drea, she knew what exactly?
She know the kind of man Robert was. Robert was a player. Even when she met him. When I was with Robert, he had women around. I mean, look at 12 play. Mm-hmm. We put together 12 women. And we wasn't looking at little girls. Never.
R.Kelly, you don't believe that to be true. Drea claims that she didn't know about the women, and you're saying that she knew about his lifestyle. When it comes to other people in the docuseries, what is your overall view of it, of the other people in the docuseries?
Well, I feel like they're hurt. I feel like they were hurt because I guess they might have got tired, and I don't think that Robert. I think that they got tired of being in what they were in, and they weren't number one as they had hoped to be.
So
and
bitter because they weren't the main chick.
Yeah.
So so
none of them should have been there if they'd have looked at the fact that the man was married.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is they knew that he was married. They knew that there were other women. They agreed to start being in this lifestyle. But once they figured out that they could not be the main chick, they decided to depart. And that's really what this is derived around. Is that what I just want to summarize?
I mean, you got to look at, when you're standing on what's real and the truth, man, the man married. What you doing with him? Mm-hmm. When you mess with a married person, it's death. It's trouble.
Okay.
So what's happening? Mm-hmm. Trouble. You messing with a married man. You know he married. Regardless if he together with his wife or not. You ain't supposed to mess with married people. It's trouble. And so now you're looking for me to find some, to be compassionate about you being hurt when you're violating the vows of a marriage. So I have to stop there and say, hey, okay, I can be compassionate about you because you were young. But you at that time were old enough. Now, if you were being hurt, then your family should have got you. Robert ain't holding you like that. What's real is when you're married, man. Mm-hmm. And you can't violate that.
Well,
there should be a law for that.
Some people are saying that the girls are brainwashed, and that's why they're not going to their families, and that's the issue, that he's brainwashing them and he's holding them away from his family, that he's keeping them away from their families. That's kind of what the narrative of Surviving R. Kelly is on the show. They're painting the narrative that the women can't leave, he's holding them. That's kind of what the picture that they're trying to paint. Even though they're saying,
I don't think that they. I don't think. If they couldn't leave, he'd be in jail right now, because that's just. You just don't hold hostages here in the United States of America. This is not one of them kind of countries, and then be out there walking the streets every day. You see, mm-hmm. They with him. What kind of power does he have? Now we're giving an illiterate person all this power.
Right.
You see, and now you're saying that. That just says a lot for the medical term. Now we have to relook at the medical terms of things now. You see, this man blows a whistle when people follow. Is that a hypnotic whistle he's blowing? You see what I'm saying? That's what you got to look at now. My memories of Robert. He walks and he sings. If he got a girl confused about something, if he mad, if he think he got to get to this girl, and she's giving him some stress, or he might be not having the grip he want, he ain't gonna argue with you. Robert ain't like, he gonna sit down on this piano, and he gonna, girl, I've been drowning myself in my own tears. That's her song. Now she going back. She got him again. He got her again. That's
so now she back hooked because he done sung her song.
Her mom and them calling, and I'm okay, Mom. I'm cool. Daddy got me. And they living in a good life. But objection with Robert is that he should put them in school. You should have them be, man, you should have all your women, you should have them in college. They should be your lawyers, your doctors, and all that. If you got them like that. And he can have it like that. But you don't know what to do with them. So now he's got a bunch of angry young girls. And I had went my course. And that's what Barry told me. Barry Hanker said, you just went your course with this one.
Okay, and your situation running its course, there was mentions in my interview that I did with Public Announcement that money was taken from him? From you, or that you took money from him?
Robert gave me. Gave me no. I didn't steal. I didn't take no money. I took money from Robert in the beginning, when we were down in New York. That's the only time I took any money. It was just $200, and I took that because my family was hungry, and I was in New York with him, and he had a whole pocket full of money and all. They gave him per diems and everything. He didn't give me nothing, and that's when we first started getting into it. Because I'm like, I was the kind of person, man. My girl tell me she hungry, my baby hungry. Then I got to get some money, and I'm in New York, man. You can't give it to me. Somebody's finna get a headache. Because I was ready to go outside and take some money from somebody. But instead, I took it out of his wallet because he had a whole bunch anyway. And then I felt like he was wrong to me, and then I told him. You see, so that was in the 90s. Now, we're talking about I left in 95. No, I didn't steal. Now, Robert tells you everybody do something to him. Mm-hmm. Everybody will sign papers and say you did something, but I didn't steal nothing from nobody. I'm not a thief. I'll take some shit from you, but I ain't a thief. I'm a thief, but I ain't taking it from you because you ain't got nothing. You can't give me what I need.
Okay.
And so, public announcement. If Robert told him that, that's that's just something he's saying. That's all. Robert ain't steal nothing from him.
Okay, so okay. So I'm going to just back up and reset. Okay. Because I was like, okay, trying to take it all in. Okay, so your statement to that is that it only happened one time, and that was way before your departure with him, and that had nothing to do with you leaving him. That was just a one-time situation where you needed to feed your family, and you let him know, I took the money, I had to feed my family, and now
I let him know later. I didn't let him know right that day. I let him know later. But he told me, I don't even think it's you. I ain't say nothing then, but it didn't come up in '95 to say that's why he fired me. No, way before that. Now, after I left him, I still had the credit card, the American Express.
Okay.
And here it is. After that, I left him. We're done. And Daryl, his accountant, knew I had this card. And he said, man, you just hold on to that. Shit, I used it.
So
Daryl knew that, so that wasn't stealing either. He knew it. So they didn't turn it off. I said, I got the card. He said, well, you just hold on to that, man. You might need a little something. Don't worry about it. Because I was.
Who's Daryl? Sorry,
Daryl McDavid was his accountant.
Okay, so his accountant knew that you had his credit card, and when you decided to depart from working with him, he gave you the green light to be able to continue to use his credit card.
He didn't say use it. He said hold on to it. He didn't say use it. He said hold on to it. But here I am broke. I went to the gas station one day. It's winter time in Chicago, Christmas time, and I went to the gas station broke. I'm talking about I had my kids and they didn't have nothing. We didn't have nothing.
Wait. So lean back. Yeah, stay to the left because how I'm doing the split screen. The half of the screen is not on there because I have to fit myself and you in there. So stay to this side. Okay.
So what happened after that? I went to the gas station one day and I tried the card and it worked.
Okay.
It was Christmas then. That's just the bottom line. But that was gone from me, way gone. It was over. I wasn't never coming back. But again, he hired me again a year after that. So
you used the card. Was that kind of yourself saying, hey, this is my payment, my severance package of leaving? Like how?
I didn't care. I didn't think nothing about it. It worked. I used it. Fuck him. That was my thought. So, if you got some beef with that, that's your business. And I ain't steal shit, and that's just the bottom line to it.
But if he didn't know about it, that's kind of like stealing.
Well, take it as stealing if you want to. I don't care. So what? What? I ain't finna sit here and argue about if I took something from that man. Why is it a concern to anybody? Robert hired me back a year after that. You see, so it wasn't that big of a deal to him, so I'm not going to sit here and be arguing about if it's a big deal to you. You see, because I'm telling you I didn't steal it. I took it.
I understand what you're saying, but a lot of people want to know what are the different motives. And that is when we were having a conversation about the different people who appeared in Surviving R.Kelly, a lot of it was they got motives because they have a vendetta against him. The reason they're speaking out is because they're no longer able to be a part. And if there is bad blood, that makes a difference as to the motive in speaking out about R. Kelly. So, it does make a difference if you took from him and there's bad blood behind
that's not the issue with me and Robert. Not at all. That's not an issue with me and Robert. Again, like I said, he hired me back another year after that because Daryl done called me and they sent me overseas, and I didn't stay there either. So I feel so bad for him.
It's not over till God says it's over.
You're right. He has a unique disability. He has a unique, what do you call it? He's autistic. And you have to discover what that is before you can prosecute that for. And then when you find that out, he's not the one at fault.
See, once again, the autism come up and he know his disability. And you're right, he's not at fault. You're right. He's not at fault.
Toxic is toxic, baby.
And she ain't doing nothing but bringing me attention because bad publicity is good publicity. Okay?
Yeah, it's true.
She talks crazy, don't keep people going to look me up. Then they go look at my book.
And then more
3
money,
out of 10 of them go buy my book.
more money for
When they
you.
read it, when they read it, they on Facebook. Requesting to be my friend. Come on. Sit. Sit.
Well, mine happened the opposite way. We were friends before I bought your book.
What?
We were Facebook friends before I bought your book.
So, what chapter you on?
I stopped. I had to go to work today. Don't laugh at me. I did. I had to go to work today.
But it's a good book, though, ain't it?
Yeah, it's a good book. It's a good book.
So, I'm hoping it's going to be a movie.
You want it to be a movie? With everything that's happening with Robert, it probably will be a movie.
Yeah.
So probably expect Lifetime or somebody to call you.
I was messing with Lifetime. They can do me right.
Oh, I forgot you was on there with them. Didn't they pay you?
It wasn't about the money. I wanted the publicity for my book. Lifetime, a program like that can't pay no person a lot. Because it's a documentary. You don't get paid for those. You know, they give you, money for like pictures, stuff like that, but they can't give you a lot of money for that, like $1 million.
So they don't pay you residuals every time they play it?
No, that's a documentary. Movie, small films, yeah. Documentaries those are sponsored by commercials. You don't get money for that.
Okay.
It's just law for them to pay you for that.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's research.
I got it.
He will take any kind of publicity to be noticed. He will say and do anything to be noticed. You heard him. I don't care about Tasha K talking bad. All good or bad publicity is good for him because you guys can buy his book. You guys can go on his Facebook page and request his friendship because he want to be noticed. He wants to have some kind of notoriety. He don't care what it is. As long as he can get some people, he can scheme and scam. See if he can find somebody else like Robert so he can scam and steal from him and plot and lie.
I don't mess with them. I'm talking about business. They look at me as a good brother.
Okay.
They talk to me about problems and shit, and I talk to them. I got people out here working at the gas station. I got young boys out here with khaki pants on and the shirt, wiping people's windows off, stepping away from cars. People just donate money. They don't ask for it no more. Like soliciting, they don't do that. They just do a service. It's papers. I took $200 out of Robert's wallet because my woman was at home, not having no food, and we didn't have no food. And I'm in New York with Robert, and he got per diem, and he didn't give me nothing. Man, look, I was ready to bust his fucking head. If I wouldn't have been able to get to that wallet, I couldn't get home unless I went through him, I'd have hurt him.
See, Demetrius Smith saying he has young boys out here with khaki pants on and everything, doing a service for him, soliciting and stuff like that. So the feds, this is the type of person that you guys want to use to take down an innocent man, Robert Sylvester Kelly, somebody like Demetrius Smith.
And then I took it. I couldn't fire me for stealing. I left Robert. Robert gave me $35,000 when I left him, and then took 10 of that back. Talking about the computers that he bought that his brother stole from me.
Okay, once again, if all these interviews, he said Robert didn't give him anything. The $35,000 he's saying that Robert gave him, that's the $35,000 that he claimed that his sister and brother-in-law gave him to launch his career. I can just hear somebody like Demetrius Smith when Robert was like, you have to go. I have had enough. I've been working with you over and over. Maybe somebody else decided to do it because Robert didn't want to, tell him. And they probably was like, you got to go. You are too much. You're causing chaos in this circle, and you're bothering Robert, and you're beginning to become a pest. So you have to go. So I can hear him. Oh no, I'm not leaving nowhere till this nigga give me my $35,000 that I used to help launch his career. Which his sister said that you borrowed the money for him for the big break or something like that when they first started. And I'm pretty sure you done stole way more than that back and forth into his camp. So he kept feeling sorry for you. Now you angry because why? I don't understand you people. When somebody break ties with you, and then you get in some kind of trouble, and even though these people could be millionaires and billionaires, that doesn't mean that they have to come and get you out of trouble. When you're out of their lives, you're out of their lives, and they don't want to deal with you anymore. That's just like with girlfriends or side pieces or jump offs, and this person was in a relationship with you or whatever, and they break ties with you and break it off. Then you get in some kind of trouble. Oh, I'm gonna call him because we used to sleep together. That's just like his sister. She was upset about Robert, didn't help her out. Okay, to me, he did the right thing, because if he would have gave you the money that you needed to keep your house, and you're no longer together, you get mad later on, just like they got going on now with this law they changed, that you can come back anytime and say somebody did something to you after 50 years and 100 years from ago, and say that somebody did something to you. So then you can say, well, he paid me off. He gave me $10,000. But he let you borrow that or gave it to you to help you with your house. So y'all can't expect this man to get y'all out of trouble every time y'all get in trouble. And I know he was getting tired of that. That's nerve-wracking. This is just nerve-wracking to me as a supporter and doing my research and listening to you guys talking about what this man has, not doing for you. After you out of my life, you out of my life. That's just like me divorced from my ex-husband and telling him I need a light bill paid. Really? Some people are friends or whatever, but y'all have to understand, people with that type of money and that kind of field, I know they get tired of people bugging them about help. They need help. Every time you look around, they need something. And the first thing we throw in their face, I did this for you. You remember when I did this? You wouldn't be this and that without me. Just like I told Tina. But look, if he was the big dog, he went down after she left him. So obviously she was the crush that kept him up. So she was doing good for herself, even better after she left him. So now everybody expecting this man to take care of them for the rest of their lives. Like he is the DHS, like he's your retirement fund, and I don't understand it. And the mainstream media is not putting stuff out here like that. So I encourage you guys to put this stuff out as everywhere. Just put it out everywhere. Just make it aware and show people the lies, and the con and the stealing. How about that?
So the times that he was saying he was, because his thing is that he said that he wrote this book in between times of going to jail, and
that's a lie.
Like managing.
That's a bald-faced lie. Demetrius Smith wrote that book when he was in jail because he had moved to California, and he became the iPod criminal. He was stealing from Target, and he was stealing everything that he could possibly steal. And that's when he wrote the book. That was years had passed. So he didn't write this book when he was in jail. He didn't know Robert. So that book is a big fat lie, but I told you that.
Okay.
His book is so miscalculated and the dates are so off, it's just outright ridiculous.
Right.
He did not know Robert during the times he was in jail in Joliet, and he was in jail. Because when I married Craig, we were in San Diego, and so he was in jail. I believe he was in jail. Every time we would come home back and forth, he'd be in jail. Even when my sister and my brother robbed me, he was in jail.
My thing is, the prosecutors are going to use a fiction book to try to throw an innocent man in prison for the rest of his life behind a fiction book and some lies and some people that no longer, and I want you guys to understand this. Look at the situation. You have desperate people that's not trying to do anything with their lives, don't have careers going for themselves, using the brand R.Kelly to launch their lives and livelihoods because they're so used to Robert taking care of their asses. So do not expect for these people, unless they got a good conscience and they guilty conscience hit them and God get to speaking to them and tell them they need to be honest and stop lying and stop trying to hurt an innocent person that helped them. Those people, they looking at it like this, because I know like people like Demetrius Smith, he's like, just like he said, F it. I took it, F it. What, F it. I sure did. What? You see how he got all bucked with the interviewer? He don't have a care. He does not care, you guys. People like Demetrius Smith don't care because he looking at it like, I have nothing to lose. I'm up in this little tiny apartment with this AC unit stuck in the window in a little bitty apartment, and I'm going to get mine. I want to be notarized, and I want to be able to have some money, and then they going to want to speak to, and they going to have to pay me. Everything is about money with this man and being a con artist. He been in jail, in and out of jail all his life. Now this is coming from the sister. Now I am repeating what the sister saying here, okay? That's why I show the clip, so I can come behind it from what they said out of their mouths. And so Demetrius Smith is a criminal that's stalking and obsessed with a man, and that's just like the parents of those two young ladies. They are trying to live their dream through their daughters and obsessed with it. You have a lot of them like that.
Let me share, and I don't care if you see this and get mad. When he was working with Robert, okay, when he was working with Robert, his first thing was he was excited. He just was stupid excited. So when Craig and I backed up, which we did because it was just too much, and you know how that boy is.
He gets excited and gets crazy. And it's like manic.
Yeah, a drug addict.
Yeah, it's like a person that's not on drugs but still has addict behavior. It's like that.
He an addict. But that boy was in my home, and he was so ruthless and so disrespectful. And I may seem a little softy, but I will take a bat upside your head.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was about to do to him.
Right.
Because he was so disrespectful. And I think that, I know that he intimidated Craig. And so Craig is gentle. Craig is not a monster. Mm-hmm. He just do stupid stuff.
Right.
You know, and if it's going this way, he gonna go to the left, and if it's going right, he gonna go to the right. Mm-hmm. He don't never make a stance for himself. So Demetrius was intimidating Craig, and I let them have that last and final meeting in my house. And when I heard what was going on, I came downstairs because we had 3 fights in our home. I came downstairs and I let them have it, and I put them out, and that was it. Now, right. If Craig saw them outside of our home, I don't know. I wasn't there. But they were always just trying to get money. Now, what a young guy.
Well, I heard that Demetrius Smith had 2 babies with 2 young women.
And he was, I think, 39 or 40. And the 2 moms were about, 16?
Woo!
Yeah,
so Demetrius Smith himself has committed the crime of being a pedophile.
Absolutely.
Okay. But he once told me he wants to walk R.Kelly into the crazy house, holding his hand. That's what he told me. I don't know what that means. I just wanted to tell y'all that's what he told me.
I think that a grown man as he would be so obsessed with another man is scary. Let me go back to the question you asked me. What happened with he and I? He threw me under the bus, and that was the last straw, because there were so many things, and nobody, if I do something for you, you do not owe me anything. Mm-hmm. You know, I just say pay it forward.
Right.
That's how I take it.
Right.
So he came to my home years ago, and he got on my horse.
Okay.
And he fell off the horse, and he didn't know how to ride. I know how to ride.
Okay.
We had 3 horses. He didn't know how to ride. He sued me.
He sued you for coming to your home, his sister's home, and falling off of your horse?
He sued me. He sued me in court.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he sued us. Then there were times when he was in need, even with his children. I was right there. I always helped him. When he and Robert, I was the first person he called when he got fired. The last and final time was Rob. I was the first person he called.
See, this is why I'm doing different clips with different interviews about Demetrius Smith. His sister, it says something when your sister blocked your calls and no longer want to have anything to do with you. And see, this is what does, and this is what he's doing now. He's plotting. He's plotting, and he will do anything. People like that will do anything and will harm anybody for money. Now, you go to your sister's house knowing that she's married to an NBA player. You get on their horse and all mysteriously you fall. And then you sue your sister because you're desperate for money. And I keep telling you guys, this man is a stalker, and he's obsessed with Robert Sylvester Kelly. He met this child when Robert Sylvester Kelly was 16, and Demetrius Smith was 26, and this man was in and out of prison, and he is so angry and he is so upset because all these times he's in and out of prison, he probably tried to call on Robert Sylvester Kelly, get me out. And the people around Robert, probably didn't even accept the phone calls. Let him stay in jail for the mess that he did. And see, and then now my thing is, Demetrius Smith was upset because nobody spent money to get his troublemaking ass out of prison. And so he's upset, and I'm just finna go in and do this fiction book, and I'm gonna make everybody lives miserable and make everybody look bad in my book because I'm upset because I made these mistakes, but I'm going to blame it on everybody else. But now I'm going to just sabotage, and this is revenge for everybody that didn't spend their hard-earned money on me for me getting in trouble. That's what a druggie do. And I feel like these attorneys need to make sure they get a restraining order. Keep this man far away from Robert Sylvester Kelly as possible. Because this man is, he's like Geronda. He's a stalker. And I'm going to explain something else and let y'all finish hearing this. But I'm going to explain to y'all why I know Demetrius Smith is one of the ringleaders in the beginning of the setup for Robert Sylvester Kelly. Let me also add alleged in my opinion, but you hear it from the horse's mouth once again.
I was the person he called when he took Shannon in his book. Mm-hmm. He took Shannon. He gave Shannon to Robert.
And then when they wanted the little girl to go. And it was said that she couldn't leave because Robert wouldn't let him take her out.
That's what they said. I don't have an understanding of that. Like.
Well, from what I heard, the girl was hogtied.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
She was hogtied by Johnny, not
she
by
was
Robert.
hogtied by Demetrius?
Yes.
So Demetrius Smith hogtied this girl Shannon for R.Kelly?
No, Robert
just to hogtie.
Robert was not there. Robert had nothing to do with. Robert was going to
so
produce the girl.
So the girl came to R.Kelly's studio to do music through Demetrius.
Exactly.
Demetrius hogtied this little girl?
No, let's not get to the hogtie yet because that didn't happen.
Okay.
In Robert's face.
Okay.
What happened was he took Shannon to the studio. He was like, Rob, he was trying to get on again. Rob, I got this girl. She looked like Pink.
Okay.
And she could sing.
Okay.
I got this little girl and she could sing and blah, 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 blah. So he took her to Rob. And so Rob said, okay, she got to stay here. She took her cat, and a couple clothes. And she stayed in the studio. So I guess she didn't like she was a little girl. She was a young girl.
Right.
And so nothing transpired between Shannon and Robert. He was just busy. And he was getting to her, and he heard her sing, and, but I didn't think he had time at that point in time.
Okay.
So Johnny was saying to me, I need you to go with me down to the studio to get Shannon.
I need you to go with me down to the studio to get Shannon.
And I'm like, well, why you just can't go get her? So I went. So he was like, Rob gonna be mad. I care.
Right.
I went and got Shannon. Come on, baby.
Because she wanted to leave.
She was ready to go.
But he says that Rob wouldn't let her leave.
Now, if he wouldn't, I didn't know.
Okay.
And I don't see that. So, Shannon, get your shit and let's go.
Right.
And that's what happened. Period. It wasn't no fight. There was never a thing said.
There was never. So how did the hog tying happen?
He brought Shannon to eventually. When he got to California.
Demetrius is he. He brought Shannon to California.
Some years later.
Years later?
Yes.
And how old was she at this point?
Probably like 18.
Okay.
So he had her at some hotel in Hollywood, and he tied her to the chair with socks and put a sock in her mouth. And I was supposed to pick her up to hang out with her, me and my girlfriend. So we got into the room. I believe that the maid let us in. Because I got, a slick little mouth, and I got in. And when I saw, I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
And I untied her, and I took Shannon to the airport, and I said, don't ever turn your face to come back. I paid for her to go. Like, what the hell?
So Demetrius was keeping this girl pretty much tied up in California.
Because he wanted her, and she told me, she says, he too old for me, I don't want him. And I was like, I thought you were like, well, he wasn't there at the time when I got her. And so when I finally told him, I was like, I thought she wanted to represent her. I didn't know he was trying to be crazy with her. So all the hard
Oh, he's crazy.
You ain't gotta tell me. He hit me upside the head when I was a little girl.
He hit you as a child?
Yeah, he did. He did.
He did tell me about an incident with a young woman named Anna. And she is deaf.
That's not her name. I forgot her name. But
she's deaf, and he put his hands on her.
And she couldn't even cry out, so he had to do some time for that.
So he did time for that?
Yeah, a little bit. I think 30 days, 40 days. But
okay, because he still speaks to her, and that's sad. But he does like to keep in contact with a lot of women that he can victimize.
See, before I give my opinions and stuff like that, an analysis, I study a person. I look at their behavior, how they speak, how they go towards people. And I told you guys, Demetrius Smith, my opinion, seems like a narcissist. And this right here show you that this guy is the plot in the setup to take down Robert Sylvester Kelly, because he was what you can say, he was jealous, envy, infatuated, obsessed with this man. And that was a setup. See, he took the young lady to the studio to get back in Robert's grace. Like, he would do anything to get back in his camp because he needed money and he was living a good life. And he was just this troublemaker. You guys have to just sit down and just vision yourself inside that studio dealing with someone by the name of Demetrius Smith. You got this man that's a narcissist. That's my opinion. Facts, he stated his own self. He was on drugs. He act like he still is, unless it's an after effect. Sometimes you can be on drugs and it can mess you up mentally, sometimes. And he knew that Robert was artistic, illiterate, and then he knew how Robert, do business as far as writing, because Robert writes in his head and he has to put the stuff down immediately, like I explained to you guys in other videos. With people that's artistic like that, they work a different way. So because he was illiterate and he uses artism to get by. And so that's why he always tell these people they have to stay in the studio. It's not because he got them in the studio because he want to sleep with them and stuff like that. But he also stay in the studio because he's working. That's why I showed you guys a video showing you how Robert Sylvester Kelly, make his music. Because a lot of people's like, oh my God, how this man do all this great work and saying he can't read or write. That's how he writes his music. That's why I told you guys, because I started doing a whole lot of studying and researching on Robert as well. And way before all this came out from people in his camp saying that Robert was artistic and stuff. I told people by me looking at him and studying him that Robert had some type of autism, and that's what I saw. Even when his features, when he was younger, I looked at his features when he was performing with MGM. I was looking at his features, his facial features as well, and how he, cope with things. And in his interviews, the only thing he talks about is music. And when he talk about his music, it make him feel so intelligent. And so my thing is with people, just imagine a person that's artistic, illiterate. You got people picking at you at school, telling you a nobody. You lose the only female friend girl in a drowning because some people picking on you and pushed her in a lake or a bayou or something, and then being molested in the home by a family member, and a male and a female. That can do a lot to you when you don't have help. And then unfortunately he got himself involved with a person by the name of Demetrius Smith. Now when Demetrius Smith took this young lady to this studio, he knew how Robert do his music, how he worked. You got to stay in the studio, and it was all a setup. And so this is the beginning of setting up, and this is where all the hog tying and stuff coming from with these alleged accusers, because of something Demetrius Smith planning ahead. So I want you guys to listen to these other clips about Tiffany Hawkins. He was the mastermind of that as well, because he wanted money. Everything that Demetrius Smith is doing is because of money, envy, jealousy, revenge. Now, I'm going to show you an interview he did with a young lady. And he's living in this small apartment with AC in the window. So he's looking at Robert being successful. He talk about every time you hear him, he say he got all this money. So he act like he's supposed to have everybody's money, just like his sister and his brother-in-law. His sister speak how he tried to come in and intimidate her husband, ex-husband. So this is what I want you guys to see. This is why it's taking me some time to drop stuff like this, because I look and I open my ears and I listen to it over and over again, and I remember other interviews and I go back to them. So Demetrius Smith is a person that really needs some help, and keep him far away once again from Robert Sylvester Kelly. This man has so much hatred in his heart for Robert, because Robert didn't want him around him anymore. So if your sister block your calls and ignore you, and she say, that's my mother's child, she don't even claim him as a brother. He done did so much wrong to these people, and he's trying to say Robert did wrong to people. And so this man, Demetrius Smith, in these girls' ear, he know what girls to get to. He know what girls to bring in Robert's camp. He know how to set up things, because he's been a street scammer all his life. He scammed people. And so he talked to the girl, I know how to get y'all some money. Y'all go up in that studio and do this and you do that, And so that's what Demetrius Smith does. He is a con artist. He is conning the feds. He's conning everybody. You're going to listen in another recording where he's speaking to a young lady that he met on Facebook. And he is basically saying that I'm going to be the one to put Robert Sylvester Kelly in prison for life, and his other manager that's in prison, that's fighting for his life as well. He's been planting in people's head that this man been paying off these girls, and that's not the case. This man actually sued Robert Sylvester Kelly for unpaid wages. And that's what I said again. A lot of people, a lot of his employees felt like Robert wasn't doing them right, wasn't paying them, but the management team kept people away from Robert. Robert's busy, leave Robert alone, we got this, and pay them a little amount of money, because the management was stealing from these people. And see, Robert, he's busy staying in the studio, just like the runner. They on Lifetime Fiction, they try to say the runners won't give calls and stuff. And so, I show a clip where the runner came in there and gave Robert a note, and his daughter was sick. He immediately dropped what he was doing. So if it's not important, he's not gonna stop what he's doing while he's working in the studio, and he got that vision and vibe for the music. He's not trying to break that, but he broke it for his daughter. But he's not gonna break it for no jump off, So they chose to hang around, and you have snakes and cons in this man's life, you guys. And I'm saying this right here. This is not right, because these are the type of people that was around a child that's artistic, illiterate. Why you think they didn't try to help this child? Why you think they didn't try to get this child an education so he can understand things? Why you think they didn't try to walk him through to understand anything? Because everybody had an agenda, and it was money or trying to gain fame and try to stay up under him so he can take care of them. All these people was gravy train riders. And that's what I'm trying to show you guys. In the mainstream media, everybody is all about breaking someone down without trying to find out everything what's going on. And so we have to show people this. So I'm going to let you guys continue on to the next, continue on here.
Oh boy. Okay, so Demetrius Smith told me when he found out I was talking to you and getting your side of the story, about to read your book, he was very upset with me. He told me, "Bitch, don't call me no more. Call Carlita." He called you a huge liar. And explain to me. Okay, so because I let him hear a snippet of what I was about to put out, because I knew how it sounded. I didn't want to let him hear too much. And he was very upset with that. My question to you is, how do you deal with an upset brother now with...
Oh, I would never talk to him in my life. If he was burning and I had the only spit left, I'd let him burn.
So you just do not deal with him at all?
I will never on my child sitting there deal with him again in my life, ever.
He told this audience that I rubbed my breast against him.
He's a liar.
Why?
Just know that.
Why is it, do you think that when Demetrius comes in contact with people, things go awry? I know a lot of...
real quick.
Yeah, things go awry. Things end up chaotic. What is that?
I think he has a mental illness. That's just my thought. I'm not a doctor. But he's always been out of control. I mean, he has this loyal part of him, but he has this monster part of him. And it always wins, this monster part. Like, do you mind if I talk about my breast cancer?
No, I don't. I actually want to talk about that.
I'm a breast cancer survivor.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I just recently finished that battle. And he would be at the chemo spot before me. He would sit there with me, and then I was fighting for my life. When I tell you, I've never in my life experienced such terrifying horror and illness. I've never felt anything like it. But he would beat me there, and he would sit there with me, and then he would take me home. He would irritate the hell out of me driving. I lived 5 minutes from Kaiser, and I would want to get out the car and walk.
Yeah, he's hard to be around. And do you think that's a reason, a lot of the reason why R.Kelly felt like maybe getting rid of him a lot, or trying to push him off to the side?
This is sad to say. I know people like Demetrius Smith, and I just imagine this man. He can't stand his sister, but he's desperate. So my sister going through this cancer thing, and kudos to her, and much blessings to her. I lost 6 people, family members, love members in a row from cancer. But it's a blessing that she fought it, and I'm wishing her many, many blessings and a cancer-free life. But just imagine you going through this, and then you have a brother like Demetrius Smith, can't stand you, but he's desperate. He needs some money. So he felt like, I need to come around her so I can try to have something, because I need something. And it wasn't there. Basically, now this is my opinion, just doing my studies with this man. He needed something from her. So I'm going to go and I'm going to try to be there and see if I can get something from her. And so he in the car driving her, and he's so upset, and he just couldn't stand being with her. So he didn't have no care to make sure she's, driving her home right. He just trying to get her home, because I really don't want to be with you, but I just want to pretend like I'm here for you because I need something from you. And I believe that interviewer, because he cursed out a lot of my followers. And I'm gonna post it right here showing you guys. He's calling people mama's bees, he F you, and and stuff like that. He said he found God, but I no, you didn't. I don't know. You're not gonna be calling women's bees and stuff like that, and stuff like that. I pray for this man too. Like I said, everybody can be recycled. I don't know if it's too late for him, but I hope he gets the help that he needs. He's running around telling everybody else they need help. From what I'm researching, you need a lot of help, Demetrius. You might need to go back to drug rehab or something, anger management. You need to get some counseling, because you are so obsessed with a man that you're willing to destroy this man's life because he didn't want a menace to society in his life, and you were part of all this mess. You did this because you were upset. You set him up. You hog-tied the woman. Your sister said it out her own mouth. You hog-tied this woman and wanted her to be with you. That somebody like you would do, but Robert Sylvester Kelly don't need to hog-tie no woman to be with no woman. This man got millions and millions of women throwing themselves at him. So that hog-tying stuff, that came from you. You set him up, and then you had some of the girls to set him up. You taught them how to be scam artists.
I may go to a concert or something, but that was the extent of it. Me dealing with him was zero, at all zero, because Johnny was very arrogant. He was very arrogant, and he thought he was on top of the world working with Rob, and he may have been. That was his thing.
His time.
Yeah. And so,
but I could imagine how he was acting. If he acts like he acts now without working with him.
But again, nobody would know about me had not I written a book. And Robert don't talk about anyone. That's how closed off he is inside of himself. Again, I say free R.Kelly. I say free R.Kelly because
Demetrius Smith did this because Robert Sylvester Kelly is not mentioning him. So I need everyone to tell me this. If someone did you so dirty and bad, will you bring up their name? Will you do your best to try to forget this person? Forget about this person that has been in your life and did you so wrong and lied, cheat, steal, plot, and stuff. I don't understand it. He did the book because he was upset. Robert wasn't paying him no attention. My ass was in jail. I needed him to get me out. My sister bailed me out and spent $7,200 to get me out before. And I know she's sick of me. So I'm trying to reach out to Robert. Robert is not thinking about me. And I'm pissed off. So I'm just going to do this fiction book. And I am going to make me some money because he is Robert Sylvester Kelly, the brand R.Kelly. I got to mention his name in this book because that's the only way it's going to sell, because he is not mentioning my name, and I'm mad because he didn't bring my name up in this book. I wouldn't bring nobody that did me dirty, scheming, scamming, extortion, blackmail, and fraud in my life, would mention his name and say he was a piece of toilet paper for me. I wouldn't do it. It doesn't make any sense. And this is what I'm trying to show you guys. This man, once again, is so infatuated with Robert Sylvester Kelly. He acting like he is a groupie. He acting like Jerronda Pace and them. Like he running behind this man because he remember the good. Like if Robert was so bad as he claimed to everybody, why did you keep going back? You said it yourself. Your life was a turmoil until you met Robert. But then when you was in there, you was doing good, living good. And then what? You leave out, you're back in jail, you're doing bad. And this is because, for one, you were getting money. You were getting paid for your work. But what you wanted to do was get your money, good time, and snort it up, pipe it up, drug it up. And then you expect to go back to Robert again to get more funds. But you didn't take care of your business as a grown man. Because remember, you met Robert at the age of 16. You was 26. And you're way older than Robert. And you should have been more mature to know how to manage your money, to take care of your baby mamas and your kids and yourself. But you blaming that on Robert, just like the dog. Somebody killed your dog, and that just gave you the reason to go and try to rob somebody. You in the stores, it's your Circle K and Kmart and everywhere, allegedly stealing things, and this come out your sister's mouth,
20 years ago, against, I don't know, I'm not accurate on my years right now because I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about Tiffany Hawkins, the first girl, and Susan Loggins, who was the attorney that someone took her to. See, it was all about the money. See, we're dealing with disabilities, and he has them, yet he's a gift in his music. See, when you cut off the head, and that's what's being done right now. I say free R.Kelly for right now. I just wanted to start with Susan Loggins first. And the other attorney that I took Tiffany to. See, I didn't get no money for them. It's not about the money. See, and that's why I'll speak out now, you see, because all of them got money. Susan Loggins. And then what does she do? She go out and get other people, recruit people to prosecute Robert for deals. See, it was all about getting money, which was not fair.
Okay, this is what I want everybody to just sit down and clear their brains. Now, he said an attorney someone took Tiffany to, right? And this is where I'm trying to let you guys know. Because he's a scam artist, he schemed. He teaching these girls how to go in here and deceive and con and blackmail and extort a artistic, illiterate person. And so he used them, okay? So now he's upset because he got that attorney for her. Now he said the attorney somebody took her to. You took her to the attorney. So you admitted, I took her to an attorney. Okay, so this is what is hog tying and all this other stuff coming in. Okay, and everybody taking something that lies that somebody else said and they putting it into their lies. They're adding it onto their lies to make it sound convincing. But he is upset now because see, he recruiting people to make money, extortion off Robert Sylvester Kelly. Excuse me. So what Demetrius did, he in those women's ears, F him, man. He making all this money. I can tell you how y'all can get his ass. And get your attorney and tell him that, this and this and that, lie. And get this attorney to, convince him to give y'all some money. Because, see, Robert, he ain't going to go for all this news and stuff. So, he'll just pay y'all out. Y'all get paid because he ain't going to deal with it, even though you lied. And y'all got to give me a little cut. So, they didn't give him this little cut because he said they didn't give him nothing. They didn't give him nothing. So he mad at this attorney because she done went somewhere else. And Tiffany worked with her allegedly to go and try to recruit other women so everybody can profit off this poor man. Free R.Kelly, Robert Sylvester Kelly, the human. You guys, this is wrong. This is wrong in many ways. Unfair press for him. You got these snakes and dogs and scheme artists all in his life. Everybody doing it for money, and that's because they lazy and don't want to do it for themselves. Any real victims is not going to do all this, you guys. How many real victims do y'all see? I am a victim. I'm not even going to say I'm a victim. I don't claim that because I have came out of that. Now, they were living a good life. That's a miserable person that he no longer wants to deal with because they were scheming and scamming with him. So these just go back, and I want these women and these men now to tell me how their lives are now, after how their lives, did you go and move on? Are you doing good for yourself? Or was your life just good when you was with Robert Sylvester Kelly? And these are the type of people, they will sell their soul to the devil and their mamas and kids to get money. So, like I said, Demetrius Smith is one of the ringleaders into all this mess that Robert is caught up in behind them. And it's sad that these the feds, these prosecutors, and investigators are not looking into this because it's political, and they're using our people as always because they know they money hungry and desperate to do anything to take this innocent man down.
The devil want his head cut off, and he want to do something to all of us. See, writing is an inspiration. Robert Kelly has been an inspiration. His writing is an anointing because it comes from within. So I say free R.Kelly. I heard him. It was written because I was locked up in a damn jail cell, and I couldn't, my only thought I had was inside of me. And so I wrote that. And it's turned things so crazy. See, I've done some things. I've been through some things. Shit, I still work on some things. Trust that.
You worked on some things, you've been through some things, and what you're working on now is trying to get some income off R.Kelly the brand, using the brand's name to get some money, your livelihood. And yes, the devil is you. Yeah, the devil won his head because you are so angry because this man refused to keep accepting you back for what you have done to him. So now you know it's no way in the world because you made the statement that you saw him in the club and he and brushed you off. And that pissed you off because you saw right then and there that Robert Sylvester Kelly was not going to deal with you anymore. You was running him down, hoping that he would give you the 50th chance of coming back.
Dude, this man has disabilities, man. This man is sitting in there, and we've shaped his mind because his writings are inspirations. They're not written with hand and pencil and paper. No, sir. It's stirred up from what he lives. And this is how he talks. So I say free R. Kelly. And we need to look at them lawyers that's representing. We need to look at the record companies. And I can tell you stories on each and every one of them, man, because, see, free R. Kelly, because he deserves another chance to be helped. Helped, man. He's got to be a lonely man, and not because he's not a John Wayne Gacy or a Ted Bundy. He's not one of them. He's not a John Wayne Gacy or Ted Bundy or none of those. I say free R. Kelly. In Jesus' name. We have to help that brother. And I say that the prosecution, his attorneys, should look at his disabilities because they don't see them. I'm not trying to stand back and just watch y'all just destroy this brother right now, man, and I think that this YouTube thing is something that has to go out, that gets out there. So I want it to be known, man. Your attorneys, man, stop trying to fight what people assume that he's done years ago and help him, the man. psychological, man. He needs some medical help. That's what I think. I think that he needs to sit down and look at his disabilities that has made him who he is, because his writing has been a gift for all of us. I think that he deserves a chance with that. He didn't put no pills in nobody's drinks. He didn't snatch nobody off the street. I've never known him to sit outside of a school and wait for kids. I've never known that. This thing started when the fame started, and they gave him power when he was an instrument. But what he had to walk through was a message for us. So let's see what message he has coming out of there for us. I don't think that's what the devil wants us to have. I say free R.Kelly. I'm with that.
Now, Demetrius Smith, what you just said on these last little clippings right here, you said this October the 13th, 2019. Okay, you were just on TMZ. That was your opportunity to say that then. So who are you trying to con, Demetrius Smith? I'm going to say what the high power people want me to say so I can get my coins. But I'm going to come speak to the fans and his supporters that know the truth so I can win them over. We read bullshit. And you think this is a game. Demetrius Smith, there's an innocent man that you constantly state has a disability that you guys are mistreating for your own greed. So is it worth it? Is it worth it to be that low down and dirty to bury? Because you know what? I'm going to just say this, Demetrius Smith. You know how you went to rob someone? This is exactly what you're doing. This is exactly how you're doing Robert Sylvester Kelly. But just imagine, and this is how it looks to me, that you going in with a gun. You hold Robert up by gunpoint. You pull the trigger and you shoot him in the head. You walk away. And he's fighting for his life and he's pleading for you to save him. But you're just walking away because you took what you wanted. You got what you wanted from him. And you leaving him laying on the floor fighting for his life. It's like you're trying to bury him when all this man tried to do was help you guys. This is Robert fighting the untruth.